Hey, welcome everybody. My name's Nate Leslie from Leslie Global Sports. It's the time of year of hockey tryouts, and a lot of times we use additional evaluators to help us run things smoothly, oftentimes trying to make it more anonymous where the evaluators don't know the players. And as an evaluator, it can actually be a little bit overwhelming, especially that first day. To be honest, the first day, so many kids look the same for the bulk of the time. So I have a really quick and simple video here on some things to look out for and some tips for evaluators to make it a smooth and enjoyable and transparent process. So the first thing to think about is really what is the objective? So in this example, we're making two teams. The objective really is to work on the bubble players, is to figure out who you want to get right so that you don't miss any, make any wrong decisions, right? And so it's really easy to spend a lot of time focusing on one player, or really working on the rankings. But here's just a couple of steps that you can take to keep things straight in, say, like a 3-practice tryout. So as I just mentioned, how many teams there are is going to impact your strategy. So let's say we have, I don't know, 35 kids trying out for 2 teams. So there may be a few who don't make either of the 2 teams, who go to house, for example, and trying to figure out who the top and the second team are. So identifying that early so that you have your objective is really helpful. If you know you actually, first of all, need to find 5 players who may not be able to make one of the teams right off the hop, that's a priority. And then also, obviously, which of the middle bubble players are going to make the top team or the second team. So before, it's really easy to find the strongest couple of players on the ice and the weakest players. So do that, and do that early. And it really helps kind of start to weed things out. So I might call them A, B, and C, and I might identify just in clumps the top chunk and maybe draw a line. Maybe it's 6 players, maybe it's 9 players. Every group is going to be completely different, just where those drop-offs are. And again, then it helps you identify what you have to work with. As I mentioned right in the intro, a lot of players look the same the first day. I don't think I'm the only hockey person that would say that. So a written note beside a player's name, green helmet, blue socks, pink laces, whatever it is, helps you identify very quickly, especially when you don't know the kids. So just quick notes that helps you identify who's who from one day to the next. And as an organization, I would encourage them, whatever you wore on the first day, wear it on the second and the third day, because we've had times where one kid's in a green helmet and then the next day she's in a black helmet, and it does actually make it more challenging for the evaluators. So the consistency all the way through, from the jersey they're wearing to the color of their socks or helmet, is important, and it helps us make just a couple shorthand notes. Again, make those early and easy assessments, lumping together the A's, B's, and C's. From there, if you can rank, let's say you have 8 players that are really strong. If you can rank those, that will also help you. It was made mention to me by a mentor early on: pick the best 15 kids and figure it out later. As it pertains to positions, you'd be remiss to try to pick kids' teams based on position. Let's say you want 5 defensemen on the team, and that 6th defenseman is the 6th best player on the team. It would be quite unfair for that player to not make it. So rather, try to take the best 15 players, whatever the number is, and see if the coach can work with it from there. Let's say you have an extra defenseman every 6th game, you have to play forward, something like that. So you're not picking Team Canada here, where you're picking the top 8 defensemen. And even then, I would argue that a team may look at taking the best players, but we're talking kids hockey, kids sport, and it's really important to identify the strongest players based on, you can debate this all you want, attitude and work ethic, skill, and game understanding, right? At the end of the day, even a player who really understands the game, if you can't skate, pass, or shoot, it's going to be hard to be effective on that top team. So again, work ethic being really important, body language, making notes. If oftentimes the best player may not have that great body language, it's worth noting for the association, and skill and game sense. Once you have your groups lumped together, A's being the top players, B the middle, C's being clearly the weakest players, then you can reassess the priorities. Okay, you might be 80% of the way there after the first 30 to 45 minutes, just based on those groupings. And every situation is going to be unique. So you need to reassess, okay, now let's focus our time on X, watching the bottom of the B's to see how they compare to the ones that you identified as the C's, or vice versa. So trying to reassess the priorities once you have them kind of in 3 tiers. And then again, focusing on that middle group, it typically comes down to a couple of kids. And it's easy to get caught up watching the strongest players, being fascinated by how good they are. Meanwhile, all the kids that aren't catching your attention as much, those are the ones you're going to have to make the hard decisions on. So spend as much time on the in-between kids as you can. How many of those is there room to bump up into your A group? And does that shuffle any of them out into the C group, depending on the numbers that you're trying to choose? In that B group, it's really important to have some notes. If you can rank them and have some anecdotes, for example, wow, strongest shot on the team, or incredible passer, or clearly the fastest skater in the scrimmage. Some anecdotes that help you justify your ranking are really important. I hope that helps. Good luck. It's a tough time of year. It's not a fun time of year for many people, and the smoother and more transparent and logistical you can make it, it can make for a smooth process, and try to make as many people happy as you can. Good luck.